Hello, listeners. This is Kat. Welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of Little Acts of Kindness. This will be Part 11, Chapter 11, entitled Vent Shenanigans. The next morning, he did everything he normally did and got ready for Mike Sensei to pick him up. Soon the man was knocking on the door, and Izuku was carefully walking down the stairs and getting into the car. Friday, after school, Recovery Girl's going to be checking on you and Shota. Make sure everything is healing up right. All right, Izuku responded. Mike handed over a new jelly packet, this one pineapple-flavored. It was certainly interesting, but not his favorite out of the ones he had tried. They arrived in split ways, Mike probably going to put on his hero outfit. They arrived in the class, and Izuku sat down. Aizawa was sitting for a few minutes before he got up and headed out of the room, and Izuku wondered where his teacher was going. A little after the teacher left, Ida came in. 5 minutes after that, Mike came into the room, blinking a bit. "Where did Eraser go?" he questioned, looking over his sunglasses at Izuku. I don't know," Izuku answered. "He wasn't here when I came in," Ida answered at the same time. Mike huffed, rolling his eyes exaggeratedly, as he turned and walked out of the room. Only a couple minutes later, Mike came back, carrying a giant yellow sleeping bag. Present Mike carefully put down Aizawa-sensei. "I swear, you're a pain," Mike grumbled. "Let me sleep," the teacher grumbled. Mike shook his head, turning and leaving the room, but Izuku saw how his lips twitched up. He looked over to Ida and saw the boy frowning. "Sensei, if you're tired, you should get more sleep," the boy stated, his tone worried. At least after USJ, his classmates weren't as criticizing of Aizawa. Aizawa just grunted in reply, not saying anything, and soon the classroom was filling up with students, and they went on with their day. After lunch was over, the class returned to the room and found writing on the board. "For the past few days, you have been learning how to infiltrate places and how to hide from villains. Now it's time to use those skills in reverse. Come find me. You have 2 hours. Start when the bell rings." The class gets excited and starts speculating where the teacher could be hiding. When the bell goes off, all of them are up immediately, dashing off. Izuku started to get up, then paused, remembering a bit of conversation from Monday. "I swear, Sho, you have to stop disappearing into the vents to avoid the other teachers," Mike Sensei had said, and Aizawa had responded with a snort, saying that they never thought to look up for him in the vents. Everyone was out of the room now, and Izuku looked up, peering into the dark vent, and he saw the white bandages and dark eyes staring down at him through the vent grates. Izuku snickered and sat back down in his chair. Well, it would seem he had 2 hours to get his homework for the day done. About an hour passed, and he was finishing up the last of his homework, when the door opened and Ojiro came in with Sero. "Oh, hey, Midoriya. Are you not looking or something?" He looked up, giving a hesitant smile as he responded. "I already found him." "You did? Where is he hiding? I swear our class has managed to search the entire school," Sero stated. Not telling," Izuku said. "Did Aizawa tell you that you couldn't tell us or something?" Ojiro asked. That did seem like something Aizawa would say, actually, so he shrugged, not exactly agreeing with what they said, but not denying it either. "Man, well, we better get back to looking. I thought maybe he came back here after everyone left." Ojiro and Sero left the room, and Izuku looked up to the vent, and the teacher simply nodded at him and closed his eyes again, probably napping. Izuku finished his last piece of homework, and with nothing better to do, he decided taking a nap was a good idea. He woke up to the sound of the door opening and a disappointed sigh. "Ah, man, I can't believe none of us could find him," Kaminari's voice complained as he walked in. "Midoriya, bro, did you get tired or something?" Kirishima questioned. "Sero told me that Midoriya found Sensei sometime before the first hour mark," Jiro commented as she followed in behind the boys. "Really? Where was he hiding?" Kaminari asked him, even as the rest of the class took their seats. The door opened, and Aizawa walked in, and Izuku blinked, wondering when the teacher had moved from his spot in the vent. "Only one of you managed to find me. Good job, Midoriya. He is also not permitted to tell you where I was hiding in case I decide to do this exercise again at a later date. I will review the footage tonight and give comments on shortcomings tomorrow. For the last 30 minutes, I want you to write a self-reflection on what you think you did wrong. Once you are done, turn it in and feel free to head out early." Midoriya pulled out a piece of paper and wrote, "Having an unfair advantage of hearing you say no one thinks to look for you in the vents." He didn't get up immediately. In fact, he waited for the rest of his classmates to turn theirs in and leave before he got up and turned it in, Aizawa tilting his head a bit before he glanced down and read over the line, snorting in amusement. "Being a hero isn't fair. It wasn't against the rules to take advantage of information you may have gathered." I wonder why no one looks for you there, Izuku mused. Not many people think to look up, Aizawa responded. We should go find Zaji. The two started to walk out and make their way through the hall when Midnight's voice called out from a distance behind them. "Hooray, sir! There you are. I was wanting to talk with you." Yeah, talk to me about trying to convince me to help prank Hizashi, again. Not today, Aizawa muttered, eyes rolling. Follow me quickly, Midoriya, and keep quiet. The teacher quickly started walking faster, and Izuku hobbled after the teacher, managing to keep pace as they rounded the corner. And Aizawa whispered something Izuku didn't catch wind of, and the floor opened up underneath them. Izuku bit his lip to keep from crying out in shock, remembering Aizawa telling him to keep quiet. He winced as the landing jarred him, and he made a thud noise. He blinked, trying to adjust to the dark, and he felt a hand on his shoulder, and he stilled. What? Where did they disappear? Midnight's voice called out, confused from above them. Footsteps echoed above him, walking away. Izuku's eyes finally adjusted, and he looked around, seeing that he looked to be in a long metal tube. Welcome to the vents, Aizawa said. They're big, Izuku whispered out. Aizawa snorted. Indeed. Normally I can access them by navigating the app Nezu created on my phone, but with my hands out of commission, I'm having to resort to the voice passcodes. So cool. It's like a spy school. The homeroom teacher started walking through the vent, his footsteps silent. When Izuku followed, he winced at how loud his movements seemed to echo through the vents. The homeroom teacher huffed. We're going to have to work on you moving silently, though the crutches don't help. Try to place them down slower, and gently, to not make as much noise. We might move slower, but less chance for Namuri or someone else to hear us, the teacher advised. Izuku moved the crutch more carefully, managing to place it somewhat quietly. Soon he got into a pattern, and he wasn't making as much as a racket, though there was still a bit of noise. Eventually they arrived at a larger area, almost room-like, and it had multiple vents leading off in different directions, and there was a small door in the vent with a couple arrow buttons. Aizawa pressed the up button. There's an elevator in the vent, Izuku questioned, startled as the door opened and the two got in, though it was a bit of a squeeze. Yes, also the answer to the mystery Zashi is trying to figure out, Aizawa said as the elevator moved up. I'll keep it a secret, Izuku promised. I figured you would, the teacher commented, giving a shrug, as if it was no big deal. They exited the elevator, and there was a ding, and Izuku blinked, surprised his phone had gone off, considering he had it on mute. About time, Aizawa grumbled. Pull it out and download what Nezu sent you. Izuku pulled his phone out and saw it was an email alert. Opening the email, he saw it was a link, and the email address was presumably Nezu's email address. He clicked on the link, and it led him to a website which automatically started downloading something. When it finished downloading, he found a new app on his phone, simply labeled Maze Access. He tapped it open and saw a map of the current level of the school they were above. There are a couple ways in and out, through the vent grates, though entering them is impossible without either using the app to unlock them or the voice access code. Then there are select spots in the walls and floor where you can access them as well. Aizawa informed as they walked through the vents, heading down a slight drop at one point, before stopping at a place that looked empty. Take a look. See where we're at, and how there's a red outline on this section. Izuku nodded. It means that there's an access point in this section. Click on it once. He followed the instruction, and it changed, revealing a 3D view, showing the vent they were in, and the hallway they were next to. Right now it's empty, but if someone was there, it would show dots with little arrows signaling the direction they are facing. It also shows where the access is located, if you don't know. Now, from this view, you can double-tap on the red outline to unlock and open the door, which will automatically close behind us. The other way to unlock them is on the zoomed-out view. You can double-tap the area to unlock. This is so cool, Izuku whispered in awe, as he double-tapped and the two walked out of the section of the vent and wall that opened up, letting them out into the hallway. Just be careful not to let others figure out how you enter, but otherwise have fun. You mean I can enter the vents if I want to? Izuku questioned hesitantly as the two started making their way through the hallways. Aizawa nodded. Nezu was planning on showing you anyways, so don't be surprised if you see him. The principal was planning on showing me, Izuku repeated. Yes, he didn't tell me why, Aizawa informed him. There you two are. I was looking all over for you, Mike-sensei's voice called out. I was avoiding Namuri. Mike snickered. I know I ran into her and she complained to me that you somehow still managed to disappear despite the little listener here being with you. I think she's starting to believe you have some sort of secondary disappearing quirk, though I gotta admit, even I am stumped how you disappeared with Midoriya. Aizawa's eyes glinted, and the bandages on his face shifted. Mike paused. You're doing that wide grin of yours, aren't you? Aizawa-sensei nodded. What did you do, Sho? Mike questioned. The homeroom teacher kept silent, his eyes amused. Midoriya? What did he do? Mike asked, turning to him. Izuku smiled and kept his mouth shut. Present Mike sniffed dramatically. I see how it is. Betrayed by my husband and my favorite listener. Oh, how cruel this world is. Aizawa snorted, shaking his head, as he started walking off, Izuku and Mike following after him. I suppose I'll tell you that I'm teaching Midoriya my secret vent ways. Mike's hand went to his heart. You're sharing your vent secrets? Aw. Aizawa rolled his eyes. Stop being so dramatic. Izuku giggled, watching the two banter back and forth. They exited the building and made their way to the car, Mike pouting. But I am dramatic. It's just the vents. Maybe you should figure out how to access them yourself. Surely it shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out. Aizawa said, a slight shift in his voice as his eyes glinted in amusement. Sho! Mike whined. You know I've been trying. Try harder, Aizawa deadpanned. I see how it is, Mike said, sniffing and looking away. Aizawa sighed. And now he's going to give me the silent treatment. The drive was silent except for some music that was playing as Mike drove them to his home, though the silence didn't feel stiff or awkward, and neither of the two teachers seemed upset, so he supposed it was still friendly teasing. Eventually they arrived and Mike walked him up the stairs. See you tomorrow, little listener. See you, Mike-sensei, Izuku said, nodding to the man as he unlocked the door and went into his apartment. The door closed shut behind him, with a soft thud. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 11 of Little Acts of Kindness. Chapter 12 will be next. I hope you all are still enjoying this fic, and as always, thank you so much for listening.